I accidentally cut off the video. So what I did was I have the power of quotient rule, which means we're dividing. And remember, the A and the B both have invisible ones, so you're distributing the n to both exponents. So then we distribute it, and because they're both in parentheses, so that becomes A to the n, and then we distribute it to the B, and that becomes B to the n power. And so we have A to the Bn divided by B to the n. So now let's look at the definition. To raise a quotient to a power, you raise the numerator and the denominator to the power, and then you multiply the exponents. Okay, let's look at some examples. We have x over y, all of that, the numerator and the denominator, to the 6th power. So when you distribute it to both, that becomes x to the 6 divided by y to the 6. Everybody got that? Down here, we're distributing this 2 to the exponent on the 7, which is an invisible 1, the b, and the c. So if we wrote it out, that would become 7 squared b squared divided by c squared. We know 7 squared can reduce. 7 times 7 is 49. B squared over c squared. On number 11, we're distributing 3. Remember, this 5 has an invisible 1 since there's no exponent, so it goes to the 1, the 4, and the 7. And so this becomes 5 to the 3rd power, j to the 4th times 3, divided by k to the 7 times 3. So when we simplify that, 5 to the 3rd is going to be 125, j to the 12th, all divided by k to the 21. Okay, pause the video and try number 12 on your own. Okay, hopefully you're unpausing now, and you're distributing the 4 to each exponent, which that invisible 1. And so your final, well, not your final answer yet. We have 3 to the 4, m to the 5 times 4, divided by, and I'm writing with one hand, sorry, n squared times 4. And so when you simplify, your final answer is going to be, hold on, I'm gonna hold one part with my elbow. There we go, bam. And we get 81 m to the 20th power divided by n to the 8th. And that sums up the power to a quotient rule. Now, on the power of product rule, the one in the middle, I'm going to flip it over. You can just do this inside your composition, and I want to show you a different type of problem. Sometimes you might end up with a problem that says negative, I'll just do number 8, but just without the 5. X to the 6, y, z8 squared, right? Be careful on problems like this, because the 2 is going to go to the 8, 2 times the 6, but there's still a coefficient there. Another big mistake people make is they ignore that there's a coefficient there. Hopefully you said that coefficient is an invisible negative 1. So when we distribute here, it also goes there. So that is going to get reduced to negative 1 squared, x to the 6 times 2. Oh, I forgot my y. See how it's easy to forget that y if I don't put the invisible 1? Y to the 1 times 2, and z to the 8 times 2. So then when you simplify that, negative 1 times negative 1 is going to end up being a positive 1, x to the 12th, y squared, z to the 16th. You don't have to write that 1 in front of it. You can just do x to the 12th, y squared, z to the 16th if you want to, because we really don't have to write that 1. But this is very important, and I did this problem because you need to make sure you know there is a negative 1 in front of there as a coefficient. All right, go ahead and do the problems on the board for your assignment.